very conceptual knowledge is very important in PLC. Okay, so let us start. PLC. So PL/SQL is extension to SQL. So we know Java SQL is a powerful language which is used to communicate to a database, and you can manage the database, you can perform some activities on the database, but still it is having the most important disadvantage because it is only a command-based language. Okay, you cannot use programming features in SQL. Let's say you have encountered a scenario, something like if some condition is true, you want to execute an insert command. If the condition is false, you want to execute an update command at the runtime.
Yeah.
Jamal, if a condition is true, I want to execute an insert command. If the condition is false, I want to run an update command at the runtime. Can you do it in SQL? No, you cannot do it in SQL because you can execute only one command at a time. Whereas in PL/SQL, it is a programming language. You can have if constraints. We can write a loop. If you want a command to execute 10 times, you cannot do that in SQL. We can use it in PL/SQL by using the concept of loops. Am I right? So,
Yeah.
so SQL in combination with programming features is nothing but the evolution of PL/SQL. Okay, PL stands for procedural SQL. Okay, so you we have some advantages of PL/SQL. There are some advantages in PL/SQL. Number one, first, we can use programming features, as I said. Like if statement, looping, branching, etc. Okay, next. PL/SQL helps in reducing network traffic. We can have user-defined error messages. We can have user-defined error messages by using the concept of exception handling. We can store the code. We can store the code permanently in the database for repeated execution. We can store the code permanently in the database by using this concept can be done by using the concept of procedures, and we can perform related actions. We can perform related actions by using the concept of triggers. So these are all the advantages because of which PL/SQL is widely used in Oracle database. Okay. Okay. So let's learn how to write a PL/SQL program. A PL/SQL program is called as PL/SQL block. So Jamal, if I say a PL/SQL block or if I say PL/SQL program, both means the same. A program is called as block. Okay. So let us learn PL/SQL block structure. Now how the blocks looks like. PL/SQL block structure mainly contains three sections: declare section, executable section, exception section. It mainly contains three sections: declare section, executable section, and exception section. Lines between declare and begin. Jamal, lines between the declare and begin is called as declare section. Lines between begin and exception is called as executable section. Lines after the exception keyword is called as exception section. So Jamal, it is a combination of how many sections? 3 sections.
3 sections.
Declare section, executable section, exception section. Dilavar, can you guess what is the purpose of the declare section?
He's on the other line. 1 minute. Maybe you can continue.
He's on a phone call.
Yeah. I get phone call.
Can you guess, Jamal, what is the purpose of the declare section? Can you tell me what is the use of declare section?
Clearly, I'm not aware of it. No idea.
No, declare section is used for declaring the variables. So Jamal, I just want to know, do you have any knowledge in programming languages like Java or a C++ programming language or a C language? Have you any idea on any language?
Sorry, Sunil, I was over the other call.
No problem. Jamal, this is question for you. Do you have any experience in programming language before?
No, I don't have idea.
So this is the first programming language you are learning.
Yeah.
Dilavar, how about you?
Very long before I learned about C++. Like.
Okay. So the purpose of this, Dilavar, the block is mainly divided into 3 sections: declare section, executable section, and exception section. The declare section is used, I can easily guess, used for declaring the variables. If you are using some 5 to 10 variables in a program, all the variables should be declared in the declare part. That's the top of the program. That's called declare section. Program execution starts from begin. Very, very important. Program execution will not start from declare. Program execution starts from begin. The lines between begin and exception is called as executable section. This executable section should contain the set of lines which are required to complete the specific task. Now here you should write the program. Right? This should contain the lines of code which will accomplish the specific task. Okay, Dilavar? In case at the runtime, if any exception encounters, exception is understand that any error encounters, then the control enters to the exception section and executes the lines of code in the exception section. All this we'll learn it practically more in detail, but understand that the block structure contains the 3 sections: declare section, executable section, and exception section. Out of these 3 sections, declare section is optional. If you want, you write the declare section, or you can avoid it. Exception section is also optional. So Jamal, what is the only mandatory section?
Begin and end.
That is called as what section? Executable section is the mandatory section. A simplest block looks like this. So in the simplest block is nothing but a block which contains only the mandatory section. Declare section is optional. So can I remove the declare section as it is an optional section? Jamal, declare section starts with the keyword. Lines of the code is called declare section. I'm removing it. Exception section is optional. Exception section starts with the keyword exception. All these lines as are optional lines, so I can remove it. So the simplest block will contains only, it starts with begin and ends with end with slash semicolon followed. So this is how the simple block structure, which contains only the required section, that is executable section. Okay. Now let us learn practically writing this PL/SQL block structures with simple examples. Write a program or write a block to display hello world. I want the program to display. We want to write a program which will display some hello world, some set of characters on the screen. Now let us start writing the program to display some characters on the screen. Dilavar, do you need any variables?
Variable, just a display. Okay. Right.
I just want to display some letters on the screen. For that, you don't need to have any variables. So
The
as we don't need the variables, you can avoid the declare section, and you can start the program by using executable section. Executable section starts with the keyword
begin.
I want to display some set of characters, that is hello world, on the screen. To display some set of characters on the screen, the statement, Jamal, what we should use is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line. Is a statement which is used to display some characters on the screen. And what characters I want to display? Just mention the characters in the brackets. I want to display hello world. And whatever the characters you want to display, you need to enclose it in single quotes.
Okay.
And end the statement with semicolon. I'm done with my task. My task is to just display the hello world. I'm done with my task. I end the program. Followed with semicolon. As per the syntax, every PLC code block ends with the keyword end, followed with a semicolon, followed with a slash.
Yes.
This is a program used to display some characters on the screen. What characters it is used to display hello world?
DBMS.
What statement is used to display some characters on the screen? dbms underscore output dot put underscore line is a statement which is used to display some characters on the screen. Shall we run this program?
Yes.
The slash is required.
Slash is required, yes, in SQL startless environment. Okay. Let's first. I'll execute it in both the environments. I'll execute it in SQL startless environment. I will also execute in Toad environment also. You can experience the difference. First, let's connect to database. Username apps, password apps, host string is VIS. I am now first connected to database. Okay.
Okay.
Important point to understand. We always work from the client machine. This is the database. When I say database, it is nothing but the server machine. We always work from the client machines. SQL prompt is the client environment. Now here you are writing a program. Where do we run the program? We run the program in the client environment. Where the program will execute, the program will be submitted to the, when you run the program from the client machine, the program will be executed in the, it will be submitted to server, and then the program will be executed as server machine, and we get the output from the server machine to the client machine. Okay. And if you want to get the outputs from the server, if you want to see the outputs from the server before running the program, you need to write a command. Or let's not make more complicated. Don't worry about this. This is the 4 lines of program, isn't it, Dilavar? Copy.
Correct.
Paste. Can you see by default you'll get line numbers? Begin is line number 1, this is line 2, line 3, and line 4. 4 lines of program. When I press enter, the program will be submitted to the server, and you get a confirmation message. Please read the confirmation message. Jamal, PLC code procedure successfully completed. I am done with completing my task. This is the confirmation message which we have received from the server. Very, very important. This is a confirmation message which we have received from the server saying that the program is completed. Jamal, you got a confirmation message, a success message, but you are unable to see the output, isn't it?
Right. How you will
We
see
are
the
unable to see the output hello world. Okay. Now, first point, the server is sending the output, but the client environment is not showing the outputs given by the server. What is our client environment? Our client environment is SQL startless environment, is not displaying the outputs given by the server. To get the outputs from the server, first we should write set server output on. What is the command I should use? Set server output on. First, very important. What is server output? Server output is an environment variable. It is an environment variable. By default, the environment variable is off. When the environment variable is off, you cannot get the outputs of your program. To get the outputs of your program, first you should make the environment variable to turn on. Which command is used to turn the environment variable on? Set server output on is the command. Now environment variable is on. As the environment variable is on, I run the program one more time. Now Jamal, are you able to get the output hello world as well as confirmation message from the server saying that the program has been successful? Yes. So set server output on is the command which is used before the program to get the output from the server. And you don't need to execute this command every time. It's only once for a single session.
So by default it is off, yeah?
By default it is off. When the environment variable is off, you will not get the outputs of your program. Turn the environment variable to on. From now, whenever you want, you can run the program. Now you get the output from the server.
Okay.
Any doubts in this program? Set server output on is a command used to get the program outputs. Okay. First point. What are the things we have learned in this first program? The first program, what we have learned is that the most important point is dbms underscore output dot put underscore line is a statement which is used to display some characters on the screen. Like how every SQL command should end with semicolon, in the same way every PL SQL statement is also ending with semicolon, Dilavar.
Yeah.
And what is the importance of slash? What is the importance of slash? What happens if I don't use slash? I'm not using the slash, I'm running the program. End, semicolon, enter, enter, enter. Is the program is submitting? Program is not getting submitted to the server. Program is still in the client environment only. Jamal, how can we submit this program to the server?
By adding slash.
Slash. Now when you write slash, the program is submitted and you get the output. So slash is used to submit the program to the server. Okay. The same program shall be executed in Toad. Dilavar, in your office it is Toad or SQL Developer? Which tool is used?
Toad commonly we use.
Deep first you can see there is a data grid. Data grid is nothing but the output of the select statements. Can you see DBMS output tab?
Okay.
Right now it is disabled. That means set server output is off. Turn output on. Now that output is on. Program. Slash is not required here in Toad. How to run the program? Execute as a script. Confirmation script output. This is script output. This is a confirmation message. Procedure successfully completed. Same message what you get it in SQL Star Plus environment. Procedure successfully completed. Fine. But what is the DBMS output? Can you see the output is hello world? Got it?
Yeah.
So how to run the program in Toad? Run as script is the command which is used to run the program on Toad.
There are two options, Sunil.
In Toad?
That where you are running it, execute as a script. There is a QS something is there, and other is QSR and
execute it in SQL Star Plus environment. Execute it in QSR. By default, execute it in star plus environment. I think we don't need
It will
to worry.
take it. The same script will be taken to the SQL prompt.
No, it's not the case.
If you select it and select the SQL Star Plus, this script will be executed in that.
That's not executed.
Okay.
I think the difference is when you use some SQL Star plus environment variables. Okay, at that point of time you'll experience this. By default, is QSR.
Because today I've
That's
inserted 4 records.
how many records?
4 insert queries. I mean, 4 insert command I've just inserted using that SQL Plus. Then it taken to that window and inserted all the 4.
Okay, is that here it is not happening? Maybe that connectivity is not defined between SQL Star plus and Tor.
Yeah, or maybe we are at the desktop is SQL. Maybe that's the reason it is not taking care of the PL SQL. Here, if you see the desktop on the right side, no? Maybe we need to select PL SQL and then run as a script, maybe
Now I'm running. Okay,
with that option here.
run on SQL Star plus.
Yeah, maybe.
No,
Doesn't, okay.
that's okay, not a problem. That does not make a difference, but you should be able to run it in any of the environment.
Yeah,
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Any doubts in the first program? Shall we move to the next program? Jamal?
We cannot minimize this dbms underscore output line. Very long.
Short line, shortcut. No, you cannot do it.
Just
Okay.
check.
But the point is, dbms underscore output underscore line is an ability. This statement is having an ability to print the outputs in the SQL Star Plus environment or in the Toad environment. But practically in the runtime, outputs will not be displayed in the SQL Star Plus environment. Output will be displayed in the front end. Front end will be generally what? It will be a form. Okay. So we generally practically we don't use dbms underscore output practical when you're using a front end technology. Are you following what I'm trying to say? In the application, with the front end will not be SQL Star Plus output. Front end will be a form or a Java page, isn't it? So in that case, practically we don't use this output. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Let's run the next program. Write a blog to calculate sum of two numbers. I want a block to calculate sum of two numbers. Okay. To calculate sum of two numbers. Yes.
One question I forget when you asked. I just started thinking.
Okay.
You went second topic. I just got the question. Achha. This one, for example, as you said, the declaration is an optional one. If I declare 2 variables like that, and in the begin, if I use only 1 variable, will it be a problem or
No,
it will be?
not a problem.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about this. You can have some additional variables, not a problem.
Achha,
Okay?
okay.
Okay. Write a block to calculate sum of two numbers. Now what you're doing, we are writing a program to do some specific task. My task is to calculate sum of two numbers. For this program, I need variables. I need 3 variables, A, B, C. I store 10 to the variable A, I store 20 to the variable B, and my program should calculate A plus B, and my program C variable C should become 30, and my C should be displayed in the output. So how to start this program? Can I start the program by using begin, or Jamal, do you need a declare section?
You need to have a declaring.
Yes, we need to have a declare section because we need to declare the variables. I start the program by using declare. How many variables you need? 3 variables. How to declare the variable? Variable name, data type, size. Variable name, data type, size. Variable name, data type, size. That's it. I need 3 variables. I have declared 3 variables. That's my end of declare section. and I want to end the declare section, I want to start the executable section. How to end the declare and how to start the executable section? By using the keyword begin. Begin helps you to understand that the declare section has been completed and we are starting the executable section. Any doubts in the declare section? How many variables you are declaring? 3 variables, A, B, and C. All the 3 variables are of what data type? Number data type. So variable name, data type followed with size. That's it. Next. Jamal, I want to store a value 10 to which variable? A. How can I do that? A colon equal to 10. This is a new operator, colon equal to. We have not experienced this operator in SQL. In SQL, we don't have colon equal to. Select star from EMP, select star from department, where department number equal to 10. Equal to operator we have used. We have not used colon equal to. What is colon equal to? It is an assignment operator. Assignment operator. It will assign the value in the right hand side to the variable in the left hand side. Assignment operator assigns the value from the value in the right hand side to the variable in the left hand side. Now variable A is initialized with what value? 10. B initialized with 20. Jamal, C colon equal to?
Sum of AB.
Sum of?
AB.
A comma B?
A and B.
Is it right? Dilavar?
No.
What is, do you think that SQL, PL/SQL environment can understand what is sum? No, it cannot understand. So C equal to A plus B. Okay, Jamal?
Okay.
Arithmetic operations both together will be stored into variable in the left hand side. C. I want to print the value C. How can I print it? Whenever you want to print the value on the screen,
DBM.
what is output if I write C in single quotes? Whatever you write it in single quotes, that is printed. If I write C in single quotes, C is printed. I don't want to print the C. I want to print the value in the variable C. So just write. Clear?
Yeah.
I'm done with my task. I want to end the program. Slash is required in SQL Starters environment.
Yeah.
I want to run it in Toad environment. I don't use slash. Copy. Second program. Highlight the program from the begin declare to end. Run as script. Did you run? Procedure successfully completed. What is output? Go to DBMS output. That is output. Same program I want to run it in SQL Starters. More comfortable way of running the environment. Frankly speaking, SQL Starters is more better way for learners. Procedure successfully completed as well as you get output 30. What are the new things we have learned in the program? The new things what we have learned is how to declare the variable. Colon equal to is an assignment operator, right? These are the new 2 things we have declared. Output what I want is something like this. I want to output the sum is 30. This is the output I want. Not 30, I want the sum is 30. How to get this output, Dilavar?
You
want to display this message?
Yeah.
I want to get the message. The sum is 30.
Okay. Again, DBMS.
DBMS underscore output dot put underscore line. So whatever you write it in single quotes, that is as it is printed.
Message.
The sum is single quotes close, followed with concatenation operator. You need to use concatenation operator followed with C. Pipe is a concatenation operator. Now let's run the program. CL SCR, clear screen. Run the program. 30 is output of line number 12. The sum is 30 is output of line number 13.
Okay,
The new thing here what we have learned is a concatenation operator which will concat the values in the static string with the value in the variable. I think line number 12 is not required. I can remove the line number 12. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
How to remove line number 12? You can comment it. Double hyphen is for commenting. Double hyphen is commenting. Commenting the program. Commenting is nothing but the line will not get executed. The sum is 30. Your line number 13 output. You are not getting line number 12. Any doubts?
You can also put asterisk, right? Or only dash.
Yes, Jamal.
Line. You have removed the first line. Okay. By
Line number
adding,
12.
yeah, line number 12. By adding this to dash, right? This is dash.
Yes. Yes.
Instead of dash, you can put star, asterisk.
Yes. Instead of this, you can also write slash star star slash.
Ah, okay.
The lines between these two special symbols will be considered as comment.
Okay.
How do you know, Jamal?
I was using it in database.
Which
For our-
database?
We are removing if there is a script and we don't want to run the script, I'm just adding the star.
Yes.
Asterisk.
So double hyphen is a single line comment. Slash star star slash is a multi-line comment. So when you want a comment in multiple lines, please use that. All the lines between these two special symbols will be considered as comment. Okay. The new things, there are 4 important things we have learned in the second program. Declaring the variables. Colon equal to is an assignment operator. This is commenting the code. And this is a concatenation operator. Any doubts in the second program? Shall we move to the third program? Next program. Jamal, looks like Dilavar is very busy with his phone calls.
I am with you, Sunil.
I can hear your ringtone from here. Very busy man. Okay.
It was Jamal's phone, in fact.
Okay. It's Jamal's phone.
Silent.
Okay. Okay. Any doubts in this program, Dilavar?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, fine.
Let's move to the next program.
As of now, it's fine. Let's see another example.
Write a blob which accepts write a blob which accepts 2 numbers from the user. Display the sum. We already have learned a program which accepts, which is displaying the sum. The only difference is the values 10 and 20 we are hard coding in the program. I don't want to hard code the values. These values should be passed by the user at the runtime. These values should be passed at the user at the runtime. Okay. Before that, I want to make few more changes in the second program. We can initialize at the time of declaring What does it mean? Now I can comment these lines. These are commented lines. Now here what I'm doing, the difference is that I just want to show you that in the declare section you can initialize the variables. Most of the programming languages helps you to initialize the variables at the time of declaring it. Now I run the program. The sum is 8. Okay, that's it. Next. I want my program to accept the values from the user. So in the previous program, we are not accepting the values. Instead, we are hard coding the values 30, 50 or 10 and 20. We are hard coding the values in the program itself. Now I don't want to hard code. These values should be passed by the user at the runtime. Okay, let's run how to write the program. So we have a special operator called as ampersand operator used to accept values. Ampersand operator is used to accept the values at the runtime. Okay, how many values you want to accept? 2 values. How many times you should use ampersand operator? 2 times. One ampersand operator will accept the 1 value. Second ampersand operator will, second time when you use it, it will accept the second value. Let's start writing the program. Declaring 3 variables. A colon equal to ampersand A. This is the line. This line is important. Ampersand operator accepts the value from the user and stores it into the variable A. I want to accept the second value and store it into the variable . That's it. Nothing special. The only thing what we are learning is a special operator, that is ampersand operator, which will accept the values from the user at the runtime. Now let's start writing the program. Dilavar,
Yep.
how many times you have used ampersand operator?
2 times.
So when you run the program, first you'll get a prompt. Enter a value for A. Let's say I'm passing 35.
Enter.
You get a message old and new. Okay, old is nothing but the old code. New is nothing but the new code. 7 is nothing but line number 7.
Yep.
Line number 7, old code is A colon equal to ampersand A. The new code that is executed is A is equal to 35, which has ampersand A is replaced with 35.
Okay.
You don't need to worry about this. You can ignore this old and new. 30 value for B. Are you getting the sum is 65? Yes. How many times it is prompting you for the value? 2 times, because you have used ampersand operator 2 times. Clear?
Yeah. Sunil, in the previous example, at the declaration time itself, you have given that constant value.
At the declaration, I have initialized.
You have given 30 like that. Okay. So
Yes.
instead of this ampersand cannot be here itself.
Yes, we can do that. A colon equal to ampersand
Okay. Okay.
ampersand operator. You can also use it in the declare section also. Next. I'll make some changes in this previous one. A colon equal to ampersand Jamal. Jamal, do you think the program will run successfully?
Just a minute.
After the ampersand operator, what I'm using? I'm using the word Jamal.
No, it will not run. It
Okay. Enter a value for Jamal. 10. Enter a value for B. 9. The sum is 19 and you got a success message. What does that mean? This means there is no importance for the letters after the ampersand operator. There is no importance for the letters after the ampersand operator. Whatever you write it,
So here it
after
will
the
be the
ampersand operator, it will be prompted. It is just a prompt. But the value what you are passing 10, colon equal to is an assignment operator, assigns the value to the variable A. That's it. So there is no importance for the letter after ampersand operator, but to have a meaningful prompt, we write the variable name. Clear?
Yeah. Fine.
Jamal, is this clear?
yeah. Jamal will be the output.
That's it. Prompt.
Yeah.
But there is no importance for this. The value what you pass will be stored in the variable A. Okay?
Fine.
Okay?
Yeah, fine. We can add later on any variable to the same procedure.
Variable in the sense? You want to add a second, third variable. D.
Yeah, D.
You can change the code. This code you have it there, you can change it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So we can modify the procedure.
Yeah. Because once you have the code along only with you, isn't it? You can modify the code whenever.
Okay.
Okay.
So to modify, there is no command like that. We have to just open the procedure and then do the changes. Correct?
Yes. Once you have the code with you, you should make your changes and then you'll execute the code. Okay. Fine. One more important point. Immediately after begin, hello one is a message. Perfect. Jamal, we know that the program execution will start from
Begin.
program execution will start from begin. Yes. So when I run this program, do you get first hello one, or do you get a enter value for let's not have Jamal. Let's separate. What is the first message you get? Do you get hello 1 or do you get enter a value for a? Which one is printed first?
Maybe hello 1 because it's the first line.
Yes. Dilavar?
Yeah,
What do
it
you
has
think?
to print.
As we know, program execution starts from begin. First line number 7 will be executed. That's the first hello 1 is the printed output. Then it should prompt for enter a value for A. But interestingly, look at this. Enter a value for A.
I told you that trick.
Enter a value for B. 2. And then you're getting hello 1 and then you get 8.
Okay.
That
Is
means
it a bug?
no, it's not a bug. Let's try to understand. When you press enter, you're getting enter a value for it. That means program execution has not started. Program execution has not started. Still the control is in the client environment only. Ampersand operator, wherever you have an ampersand operator, first the client environment will scan your program. Checks wherever ampersand operator is there. First it will accept all the values. Once only all the values are accepted, then the program is submitted for execution.
Okay.
Don't think that first program is submitted after running some lines of code, that again control comes to the client environment, accepts the value and again it gets executed. No. After accepting all the values from the user, then the program will be submitted for execution. So first the program will be scanned by the client environment. Wherever ampersand operator is there, it will prompt for a value. And then after prompting the value, then the program execution will begin. Will start from begin. So first hello 1 is printed and then the sum is certain is printed. Okay. So ampersand operator will use to accept the values in the client environment. Only after accepting all the values from the client environment, then the program will be submitted to the server.
Yep. Sunil, if suppose there is no variable inputs we are making, only just we are saying that A equals to 10, B equals to 5, C equals to A plus B.
Yes.
Then before that, I mean, if you are printing this hello 1, then at that time hello 1 will be printed first and then 30
Yes.
will come?
Yes. Right. Because program execution starts from, because let's go to the first program. This one. So what is printed?
Hello 1,
Dilavar?
hello 1 and 80.
Perfect. Okay.
We can use any operator also, the equals to operator, anything within the message, within the single quotes.
Yeah.
And
You're
this,
talking about this one?
yeah. And also, this C is holding the result, okay? And this C is still can be multiplied with the.
You're talking about this kind of equal to operator in the output?
Yeah. This equals.
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Is it doubt clear?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. So it's not a reserved. Whatever comes in single quotes, it will be displayed.
Yes, that's the set of characters that is as is printed. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Still, if we want to print C, no? So it has to be a. Or suppose if C should be multiplied, added again with A. So then we need to have C as a variable, D equals to C plus A again. So I mean, So in the result we can publish, or it has to be a second before the DBMS, it has to be a new line.
I'm not copying this one. Numeric value error. You cannot directly perform calculations at the time of printing.
Okay.
Okay.
So it is only for display only.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
Can we write this is important. Can we have SQL commands in PL/SQL block? What does it mean?
Yeah. Some get function, statement we can insert within the procedure.
Currently, Alan's salary 1600. I'm writing an update command as part of PL/SQL block. First, enter a value for A, obviously 5. Enter a value for B, 1. The sum is 6. Thank you is the message. And before thank you message and before the sum is 6, there is an update command that has got executed. And observe, you will not get a message saying that one row updated.
Yeah.
Unlike in SQL, if you independently write this command, you'll get a message one row updated. But here in PL/SQL, you'll not get independent messages of your update commands or the commands you have used it in PL/SQL. And finally, you get a message, generalized message. You can go back and verify the table whether the update command is working, is executed or not. Alan's salary has been now changed to 2000. Can we write the SQL command in PL/SQL block? Jamal, yes, you can write it. This is a proof that you are able to write an update command in a PL/SQL block.
Okay, but it is executing within the procedure itself and doesn't update any commitment or something like that. Okay, but if there is an error, for example, name equals to Alan, there is no Alan, for example, there is no record in the. So, but our calculation A plus B, that will continue, no?
That will continue.
Okay, but even if the update is failed, that will also.
Look. Last employee number 7934. One update command, one delete command inside DBMS output statements. Sum is 5, thank you. You will not get independent outputs. One row updated, one row deleted, 0 rows updated. No, you will not get independent outputs, but go back and verify your table. Select star from employee table. Employee number 7934 should not exist. Only 13 records have been, one row has been deleted. And as there is no Alan, there is no Dilavar, but as per the syntax, the update command is perfect. As per the syntax, there is no problem, is it? So the update command gets executed. There are no data matching in the table, so not a problem. It continues the execution. It executes the rest of the lines in the program, and then you get a confirmation message from the server saying the program has been completed.
In this case, you will not know if your statement is
Work is done or not. Can we have something, I mean, which can trigger that your update works but delete works like that?
Yes, we can have it. We can know at the runtime. You can check whether your update command is really affecting the table or not. That's what you want to check it, isn't it?
Yeah, correct.
You can do that by using the concept of cursors. When we start cursors, at that point of time, I'll tell you how to check whether the update command is working or not.
Okay.
okay.
At the point of cursors, when we start the concept of cursors. But as of now, you can see that you are able to write an update commands and delete commands in a PL SQL block. Can I write an insert command in a PL SQL block? Jamal, can I write an insert command in a PL SQL block? Definitely, why not? Jamal, how much salary you want?
4,000.
Very less.
Above. That's Omani riyals.
Oh, Oman currency 4,000. Very good.
You can make Yamni Riyal also.
Okay. So one update command, one delete command, one insert command. Yes, you can do that. Already this record has been deleted. Let's delete one more record. Ford. Every statement should end with semicolon. Please observe. Every SQL command, that rule will be the same. And every PL SQL statement is also ending with semicolon. A PL SQL block can contain SQL command. This is a combination of SQL and PL SQL programming. 7-2 successfully completed. Go back and check whether they are what is the employee name we have deleted. Ford. Ford has been deleted and Jamal has been inserted.
Fine.
One row is deleted, one row is inserted, one row is updated. Okay, so the point what I want to be very clear. Can we have SQL commands in PL SQL block? Jamal?
Yes.
Yes. Now look at this. Smith. Is it a valid update command? Dilavar?
Yeah.
Currently the value of Smith's salary is 800. Successfully completed.
Yeah.
Now 800 has been updated to 2000. Instead of update command, can you write a select statement? This is interesting.
That's why you kept select in the last, huh?
Select in the?
That's why you are showing the select in the last. It's interesting, huh?
Last exam before the DML commands. Observe, this program will give you error. So you cannot execute a select statements in PL SQL block. Okay?
Here is the twist.
DRL, it will not accept DRL.
So DML commands like insert, update, delete, yes, they are accepted. Data retrievals commands, that is nothing but select statements. Do you think they are accepted? What are data definition language? What are the DDL commands? DDL commands like create, alter, drop. Can we write it in a PL SQL block?
Truncate, rename.
Alter, delete, drop, alter, create, alter, drop, truncate and rename.
We have a table student. Error. DML commands not allowed. DDL commands not allowed. DML commands allowed. Data retrieval language commands select.
No, not allowed.
Not allowed. What about transaction control language? Something like commit. Are they allowed in PL SQL? Let us check it. I want to insert this, insert operations, update operations, and I want to perform all these operations permanently. So I use a command commit. This commit command will make the we know the importance of the commit command. Commit command will make the previous changes permanent to the database. This update, delete, and insert commands will be executed permanently. They will have permanent effect on the table. So commit commands are our transaction control language. Commit is generally used in PL SQL block to make the changes permanent. Successful message. You are not getting any error. So commit is also allowed in a PL SQL block. What about data control language, grant and revoke? Obviously, they are not allowed because it is the job of a DBS or the DBS responsibility. Okay, so can we write SQL commands? Now the answer is, can we use SQL commands in PL SQL block? Yes, we can use DML commands like insert, update, delete in PL SQL block. When you try to write a select command in a PL SQL block, you are getting an error. When you write a DDL commands like create, alter, drop, you are getting an error. Okay, but definitely you can write a transaction control language commit to make the changes from the PL SQL block permanent. Clear? Any doubts? Dilaver.
Yeah, fine. Till now, fine. Yeah.
Okay. Let us have a quick discussion about control structures, because pretty simple. Most of the programming language will have control structures. Control structures are nothing but writing if statements, writing loops. Let's have a quick discussion. These are pretty simple, self-explanatory examples. Let us quickly complete the control structure, starting with if, then else.
Anil, if there is any, I mean, if you want to bring data from somewhere, okay, from some table, some condition, and if you want to give it to a running parameter, like, so for that reason, I mean, select, we cannot use it.
Yes,
Like,
as of now, we cannot use it. Use a select statement in PL SQL block, but there are few more concepts using which we can run the select statements in the PL SQL. There are few more syntaxes. In the next session, we'll learn how. As of now, we don't know how to write a select statement, but in the next session, we'll learn how to write a select statement in PL SQL block and how to execute those select statements in PL SQL block.
yeah. Okay. Because always giving a parameter, even the running parameter to a variable, it will be challenging. I mean something if we are retrieving from select statement, that result will coincide in some procedure.
It's yeah. We can execute. As of now, we cannot execute, but you have other syntax using which we can run the select statements.
Yeah. Fine, fine.
Program execution starts from begin. The first message what you get is welcome. A greater than 10. Condition is false. Hello 2 is printed. And thank you. Welcome hello 2 is printed because the condition is false. If the condition is true, the if statement gets executed. So and thank you is the message. Just to understand the syntax of how the PL SQL block looks like. If statements looks like. Now let's learn about loops. We have 3 types of loops. And for loops are important. Let's start with simple loop. Loop starts with the keyword loop, ends with the end loops. Dilavar, what is out? See, this is the beginning of the loop, and this is the end of the loop. I hope you know this is called the body of the loop, and the lines in the body of the loop will be executed multiple number of times. That is the advantage of the loop, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is the output of this program?
First, it will print welcome. Welcome.
Program execution starts from begin. First, welcome is printed.
Yeah.
Control enters to the loop. Hello 1, hello 2 is printed.
Okay. And 3 printings, and then there is no input parameter for A, and then thank you will be printed.
How many times hello 1? How many times hello 1 and hello 2 is printed? Only once.
Should be once. Seems to.
Okay.
Because we didn't give any comparison.
So it will execute only once.
Yeah, there is no condition because A variable we have given, its value is assigned as 1, and
Okay.
1 we are not using in the loop anywhere.
Okay. So it's executed only once.
Yeah, seems to.
Jamal, what do you think?
Will print hello 1 and hello 2.
How many times?
One time only.
Okay. Look at this output.
There will be a loop.
Indefinite times, not one time. Control enters to the loop. Once the control enters to the loop, there should be one condition to break the loop. You should write a condition to break the loop. As there is no condition, you are unable to break the loop. So loop will execute for indefinite times. First welcome is printed, control enters to the loop, hello 1, hello 2 is printed. Before end of the loop, again goes to the beginning of the loop, again hello 2, hello 1, hello 2 is printed. Before end of the loop, again control goes to the beginning of the loop. This hello 1, hello 2 is executed n number of times because there is no condition to break the loop. Always loop should have condition to break, otherwise you will enter into an indefinite block.
Okay. Sunil, if
Yes.
loop doesn't end, okay, because condition is the iterations are continuous, infinite, then thank you will not be printed then.
Yes, thank you is not printed. You're not getting thank you. You're getting an error. Okay.
Yeah. Fine.
Thank you is not printed, and you're not getting a successful message. PL SQL process successfully completed. No success message. Okay. So you should have a condition to the break loop. That condition is called exit when. Exit when a equal to 3. Now Dilavar. Now tell me the output of the program. First welcome is printed.
Yeah, welcome is printed.
First hello 1 is printed, hello 2 is printed, and judge the condition a equal to 3. What is the current value of a? 1. 1 equal to 3. Condition is false. Again, control goes to the beginning of the loop. Again, hello 1, hello 2 is printed.
Yeah.
Next.
Finish, exit.
How many times the loop will execute?
When 3 equals to 3, it will exit. So this is the final. And then thank you will be printed.
Hello 1, hello 2 is printed once or twice or thrice?
It will be twice, H1, H2, H1, H2, and then thank you.
Jamal, how many times H1 and hello 1, hello 2 is printed?
3 times. Hello 1, hello 2, 3 times.
Okay. So let's see who is winning this quiz. Indefinite times.
Again?
You own it, huh?
Now because hello 1, hello 2 is printed. What is the current value of a? 1 equal to 3 condition is false. When the loop will break when the condition is true. Are you incrementing the loop variable? A is always 1. You're not writing a equal to a plus 1. A is always 1. Is always for condition is always false. Loop will not break.
Yeah.
Okay. So there should be one statement. Let's say a equal to a plus 1. Now welcome is printed. Hello 1, hello 2 is printed. Current value of a 1 equal to 3 condition is false. Lines will execute. Next line will execute. A becomes 2. Before end of the loop, hello 1, hello 2 is printed. 2 equal to 3 condition is false. A becomes 3. After a becomes 3, control comes to beginning of the loop. Third time, hello 1, hello 2 is printed. 3 equal to 3 condition is true. When the condition is true, loop will break. Control comes out of the loop, executes the remaining lines of code. So hello 1, hello 2 is printed 3 times now. Hello 1, hello 2 is printed 1, 2, 3. The point you need to understand that every loop should have exit when condition. Otherwise, it becomes an indefinite loop. Even though you have an exit when condition, the condition should become true. Then only the loop will break. If the condition is false, loop will not break.
So Sunil, when 3 equals to 3, will it again print H1, H2? When we are saying,
Now, let's evaluate the program. Dilavar. Welcome is printed. Control enters to the loop. Hello 1 is printed. Next, hello 2 is printed. Exit when a equal to 1. What is the current value of a? 1. 1 equal to 1. Condition is true. When this condition is true, loop will break. This line will not get executed because loop is breaked.
okay.
Thank you, Skit. How many times the loop is executed? Only once.
Oh, fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So one time it will get printed.
Dilavar,
Yeah.
what is the output now? First welcome is printed. Control enters
Yeah.
to the loop. Exit,
Yeah.
first line is exit statement. Exit when a equal to 1. What is the current value of a?
1. 1 equals to 1.
One condition is true.
Yeah.
So,
It will,
Welcome. Welcome, and then it will exit.
and then thank you is printed.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you is there. Thank you is not in the execution seems to be.
Welcome and thank you, because the first line is an exit when condition. When the condition is true, loop will break. When the loop is break, remaining lines will not get executed. Control comes out of the loop and then thank you. Okay.
Yeah. If you put thank you on top of the end loop, that will also not be printed.
That will not be printed. Yes, that's true.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine.
This is simple loop. Right. While loop is almost same as simple loop. While a less than 3 loop. That's it. Syntax concept is almost the same. While condition, when the condition is true, control enters to the loop. 1 is less than 3, condition is true, enters the loop. Hello 1, hello 2 is printed. A becomes 2. Before ending the loop, again checks the condition. 2 less than 3, condition is true. Hello 1, hello 2 is printed. A becomes 3. 3 less than 3, condition is false. Loop will execute only 2 times. This is while loop syntax. When the condition is true, control enters to the loop.
Can we compare both of them, Sunil, for and this previous loop and this one while loop?
Yes,
How
in the
it-
previous. Main difference is first what is print. Now here the normal loops, control enters to the loop. First the body of the loop will get executed.
Okay.
There is no verification to enter the body of the loop. It gets executed. Whereas in while loop, when the body of the loop will be executed only when the condition is true. Only when the condition is true, when control enters to the loop. It checks the condition before entering to the loop.
Okay.
Whereas in normal loops, condition is not verified. Directly control enters to the loop.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Is it clear or not clear?
so it will see at first time it will print. Okay. Then again it will come back.
What is print here? Here in this case you're talking about.
Yeah, here. While
Yeah.
A,
First, what is the value of a 1? 1 less than 3. Condition is true. As the condition is true, control is entering to the loop. So when the control will enter to the loop after verifying the condition. Whereas in the previous example, there is no condition here. Directly control enters to the loop. No matter whether it is a is 100 or 5 or whatever it is, control enters to the loop without verification of the condition.
Okay. So in this here we have the equal value is there. It's a fixed value is there. That's why I mean the loop runs till the value is satisfied. And there also
Yes.
the same operator is there, increment of that
Yes.
greater than or less than.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
This while loop we don't much use it, but for loop is very important.
And what is this a equals to a plus 1? What is the relation from? Okay. I got it. Sorry.
Got it?
Yeah.
Well, instead of
Yes.
a plus 1, if we take a plus 3, then nothing will be printed except welcome and thank you.
Let's say plus 10.
Yeah,
First welcome is printed.
yeah, that is fine. Yeah,
What is the current value of A?
1 plus 10,
1 less
11.
than 3. 1. No. What is this value?
1 is less than 3.
Condition is true.
Yeah.
Control enters to the loop
Okay.
because the
1
condition
plus-
is true.
Yeah.
Then what will happen with this first welcome?
And then it becomes 1 plus 10, 11. 11 is less than. Not print.
So loop is executed once.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
Generally, for loop is used to execute the set of lines for n number of times, fixed number of. For loops are very important. For variable a in 1, 2 dots for loop. Syntax is bit typical. Understand the syntax. Every loop should have end loop. First welcome is printed. Let's say I have just declared, I have not initialized, just the variable a I have declared. This syntax is very important. For the variable a in 1 to 4, is that for a is equal to 1, first hello 1, hello 2 is a printed. By default, the variable a will be incremented by 1, a becomes 2, second time hello 1, hello 2 is printed, a becomes 3, third time a becomes 4, fourth time. Loop will execute how many times? 4 times. It is something like for a equal to 1, a less than or equal to 4, a plus plus. Whenever you want n number of times to be executed, in that case we would use for loop. So loop here will execute how many number of times? 4 times.
So if we know the maximum value, then we will be using this for loop.
Yes, when you know how many number of times you want to execute the code, in that case we go for loops.
You can use it in
Okay.
max.
Yeah.
This is the maximum level.
A is 1 is lower limit and 4 is the higher limit.
Those 2 dots are fixed, huh? 1 dot dot 4.
Yeah, syntax. If you write 3 dots, you get error.
Oh, okay.
Syntax is 2 dots. Error.
Okay.
So only 2 dots is the syntax. Okay.
Yeah.
And one more important point, very important point. This line for variable a in 1 to 4 loop will execute for m. What is this a? A is a variable. Have you declared the variable? Yes. Now I remove the declare section I'm using a variable A. Did I declare the variable A? You have not declared.
Optional.
You have not declared it. But still, can I run the program? But the program is running executed. This is the advantage of for loops. Very important note. In for loops, the loop variable is implicitly declared. So you don't need to explicitly declare. It gets automatically declared by itself. That is the advantage of for loops. Any doubts in understanding the for loop? We use this for loop. Remember, the for loop syntax is very, very important. We use this for loops extensively when we are using the concept of classes.
Okay, and this one in the previous loops and while loop, when the declare was already there, but even though it was
Yes.
optional, can we try
Here
that?
it is mandatory. Variable A should be mandatory. If you remove the declare section, you get an error. Variable A must be declared. But that advantage is only for loops.